I feel like it's appropriate. And this is how my brain works. It's hyperactive when it shouldn't be hyperactive, and it's halfway broken when it should be working. Welcome. This video is going to be about the future of this channel. So why did you hit the subscribe button? It's probably because you've seen some of my older videos about like education, about how to read a book, about how to learn to read again. But a thing that you really have to keep in mind is that, dude, I'm a first-year nutcase talking about books here. My taste in literature, it's constantly shifting, all right? It's constantly shifting from point A to point B, like, and I don't even know what I'm going to read next, right? Before I had like a to-be-read list, but recently I went on this like huge spree of just reading random books from random different genres and from like random corners of the bookstore. And hey, Melbourne's out of quarantine, so I've been tramping the streets a lot, been sketching a lot, been writing a lot, and yeah, I've been living a lot recently. That's kind of a weird statement. And that statement is going to bring us to the 3 directions or the 3 principles of this channel going into the future. I don't even know what I'm talking about. First principle, you will begin to see a departure from just like this obsession with ideas. Major realization that I really came to terms with was the realization that life is not, how should I put it? Life is not just a collection of ideas. And life is so much richer than just a collection of big books that you need to tackle. For brainy people, I feel like they seek a lot of security in knowing that, hey, I have this huge library that I need to dig through, and somehow through digging through this library, I am there to achieve my ultimate salvation or my ultimate state of happiness. But after 3 years of doing just that, getting stuck in a library and just reading for 4 hours a day, I feel like there's just a world out there to live in. You still have to learn how to do your taxes. You still have to learn how to drive a damn car. You still have to learn how to be an adult. So I'm really interested in kind of like embracing that part of life and also like see how the 2 worlds overlap. Literature students at the beginning, also like philosophy students, also you guys are in the same camp, like we are in the same camp here. We get into this, you know, the forest of ideas and we get instantly mesmerized by all these dazzling visions of, you know, this philosopher said this and that writer said that, and it's really easy to get tracked and distracted by all these like tantalizing, I don't know, images, ideas, theories of the universe that sometimes, not always, sometimes we get a little bit detached from planet Earth. It's easy for us to stop caring about having a decent lunch. It's easy for us to stop caring about like just the normal stuff, like learning how to drive. It's easy for us to neglect very, very important parts of our lives. It's like taking care of your physical health and mental health. You know, that's really damn important. So in a sense that without realizing that you are not dealing directly with life, you know, all of its challenges and all of the more earthly stuff that you still have to deal with, intellectual pursuits can actually hinder your personal development. So some people get lost in a forest forever and they never come back out. It's really easy to turn intellectual pursuits into this never-ending hamster wheel where you're just kind of like stuck in the wheel forever, chasing that piece of cheese. Maybe there's like some higher understanding there, but like at the end of the day, there's just life, you know, all ideas, all great literature, you know, they all relate back to life. You know, you can find the most fascinating crap in so many of the most unexpected corners. There's poetry in being an idiot. There's poetry in not understanding the customs. There's poetry in parking your bike in a wrong spot. If your brain is so like encased with layers upon layers of interpretations and layers upon layers of just like complicated crap, it's going to be really difficult to, you know, make a return back to what life really is. So that's the first key pillar. You're going to see a lot more snippets of me trying to deal with like the normal stuff, like dealing with just, God, some of the most annoying things ever, and somehow making sense of that and fitting that back into my life. I'm really interested in exploring like the intersection between the 2. So like living as a down-to-earth person and also having all of these great ideas as supplements to supplement life, so to speak. What is the middle ground? So you don't turn into someone that's completely detached from ideas, and you don't turn into someone that's completely lost in the forest of ideas. How do you develop a healthy relationship with life and ideas? That's what I'm trying to figure out with future videos. Second direction is going to be I am no longer gonna read another book that bores me. Now, in the classics community, or like in this entire kind of like stiff upper lip, have you read Camus? Or have you read Sartre? Or have you read David Foster Wallace? For a very long time, I thought that was the way to tackle books. You know, there are all these definitive great books out there that you need to read. And reading all these books somehow means that you're a well-learned person. But recently, I really came to the realization that that's probably not the case. So after I've had that realization, I went around to bookstores in Melbourne and I started just buying random books. And I ended up with some pretty interesting titles, like George Bataille's Story of the Eye, which Cliff from Better Than Food recommended, and also Hunter S. Thompson's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. In the future, this is kind of like a commitment toward figuring out my literary taste, really. You need to somehow trust your intuition, to trust it enough to know what kind of books are good and to know what kind of books are kind of like borderline not your taste. You kind of have to be smart about it because some books are indeed very tough, but they can completely transform your life if you've had the stamina to stick through the entire thing. So going forward, I am going to capture that entire process of figuring out what I like to read and figuring out, you know, what are some of the things that really resonate with me. It's going to be a messy process. It's going to take a few years for me to really figure out what I'm into. For me to go through trial and errors, and also, you know, the process of maturing is the process of ditching stuff that didn't resonate with you. So expect more like weird book recommendations and also just like weird misadventures into the world of books. I feel like removing that sense of security that I had with the Western canon, the classics within the Western canon, that really freed me up. Now I'm able to read so much just like interesting crap outside of this little circle that I've constructed for myself a few years ago. So yeah, we might go down some pretty interesting detours, so stay tuned for that. And the last thing, which is going to bring together the two previous points, for this channel in the future, writing is going to be a giant thing. You know, the reading stuff and the living stuff, when the two worlds collide, you know, the product of that collision is going to be writing. Now, as a storyteller and a writer, I'm still very much in the process of trying to fit the right pieces in the right places. But sometimes it's super easy to get caught up in your head. So indeed, writing is a difficult craft, and it's going to take me, you know, multiple years, maybe even an entire decade for me to get anywhere with this art form. I started out with some like delusional images of like becoming the greatest XYZ, but now it's just kind of like, if I can tell a story that's halfway interesting, that's a win right there. So expect future content to be kind of like a documentation of, you know, living, engaging with ideas, and also, you know, dealing with the craft of writing. It's really like three circles coming together, and in the intersection, you have this YouTube channel. Videos are probably going to be in the form of video diaries, because that's a really interesting form that I would like to explore. And I really do feel like I don't document enough of the process outside of this damn room. So far it's always been this room, you know, setting up the camera and like the bookshelf, and there's my face talking into the camera. However bland or insignificant the moments are right now, they are going to make sense somewhere down the track. So my job right now is to capture snippets of living, snippets of engaging with ideas, but not getting lost in ideas, and capturing snippets of this process of perfecting the craft of writing. And with the coming together of all three elements, video diaries. God, I feel like a wacko tonight. I might have to bring this camera with me wherever I go now. It's gonna be kind of annoying, but you know, it's all about documenting the entire process. And again, thank you, really, for all the support and for all this crazy shenanigans. I can't believe you're still here watching this video. I appreciate every second of your time, and I hope you're having a great day so far, and I will see you in the next one.